What is up, comic book fans, Batman aficionados, and pop culture geeks? Yes, so I've come back and I've done something which a lot of people requested me to do because they were curious to know about what my take is about great Batman stories. And what I've tried to do over here is to try and create a list that's kind of highlighting some other stories that I wish would get a lot more attention. Some of them get casual passing mentions in some lists, but I'm not taking that away from any of the great reviews that you see everywhere in the comic book fandom. I'm not trying to say that their lists are faulty or cliched in any way. All great guys, total respect to them, more power to them. A lot of guys may not agree with me on this list, which I'm about to present to you, but hey, that's all what it is, guys. It's a discussion. It's a healthy discussion. So let's dive straight into it, shall we? Let's get straight into the list. Now, the first thing is that I'm putting out here which are the most common titles that make it into the main list that you see from a lot of great reviewers who are out there, right? A lot of guys on YouTube, a lot of guys on their own website, people you might meet at comic book conventions. These are the usual set of titles that, in some combination or the other, will either be featured in the top 5, bottom 5 of the top 10 lists. Some might have a list of 15 and so on. Most of these are all great titles. I love some of these to death. I could never part with them. And obviously, I've not included them in my list because I wanted to highlight, as I said again, stories that I wish would get a lot more attention. Some are pretty old, a few decades old. Some are more recent. But I would love to know what you guys think. And this is not just for people who are beginning Batman. I mean, it's even for guys, who like me, guys who are relative to me, guys who are maybe a little younger, but perhaps have read far more. What do you guys think? Which of the stories that really stand out? So this is the list that you usually will find out here. Great titles again. Some of them I don't quite agree with. Some of them I just cannot connect with at all. I'm sorry, that's just me. That's just my opinion. But it's okay. I mean, not everything is going to have universal appeal, but that's fine. But all in all, a great set of lists and great set of title that you see over here. And feel free to pause the video at this point, guys, if you want to just sort of take that artwork in from each of these titles and some of the things that you see out here. Right, so in this section, I just want to quickly call out a few special and honorable mentions. Single issues first up. This one is the third issue that came in the Man of Steel original 6-issue set by John Byrne. I've done a review of the re-release, which is included in a hardcover. You guys can check that out on my channel. But this was something that really started in a big way. The first meeting of Superman and Batman. Simple story, but pretty powerful. Right, and the next one is A Clash of Symbols. Obviously, I don't want to give anything away about this story. You'll have to read it to know. But one thing is that Batman nearly gives in to defeat in this one. But by the very fact that he challenges himself, fights back, and probably triumphs, you'll find out, was a very interesting take. And I could really see there was a lot of emotional depth that they were really kind of going for in this. Just my interpretation. You guys let me know what you think for those who have read it. Right, so this one, guys, is quite possibly my favorite Batman short story of all time. I mean, just the artwork, the simplicity of the story where it's showing him actually tracking down these two kids that have been kidnapped, and flashbacks to his own life where he first became the Dark Knight. And just the color tone, the drawing, the artwork, just this overall feel. I still have the original issue that came out of my collection. I will never part with that. And of course, for a lot of you guys who want this entire 0-hour storyline, it's available on Amazon in a nice little trade paperback, which you can get. So please grab that if you can. I know not everyone's a big fan of this one, but for me, it holds a very special place in my heart. So yeah. Okay, now I know I'm going to stir up a lot of ruckus about this one. Now, a lot of guys will first point out that just a little earlier in this video, I showcased, a set of graphic novels and Batman titles that usually make it a, fan lists and so on. And this one does feature very high on a lot of lists, for sure. It's very well known, very well loved, very, very much a pivotal story in the Batman story canon, if you will. But the thing is that I didn't want to put it as part of my list, which I'm about to show you, of my top 10 of other Batman stories, which should get more attention, because this one obviously does. But the thing is, it holds a very special place in my heart. I didn't want to just put it there. And I think if there was ever a collected edition / story from the Batman story universe canon, this one would rank extremely high. In fact, if I had put this in my list, it would have ranked at number one. Okay, just so you know how much I like this, but I didn't want to just so dilute what I'm about to attempt to do out here with the list. So that's what it is, guys. So you guys let me know your thoughts. But all in all, if you guys haven't read this, please do. It's phenomenal. It really is. And here we are. At number 10 is Contagion. Now, this was, without giving too much away, the story that follows the Nightfall series. And you guys know for a fact how big a fan I am of the Nightfall series. You know, that holds, again, another very special place in my heart. What can I say, guys? A lot of stories do, but there are specific ones that, just stand out in such a big way. But Contagion is one that I really wish would get way more attention. I know there's some great guys out there like, Omar at Near Mint Condition, and quite a few other guys, and with really great content and YouTube channels and all that, who really try to highlight a lot of great stories. And this was, I think, one that he had in fact mentioned when he talked about the Batman reading order, and I agree with him. I mean, this is in fact a really good story. What you'll notice over here is that I've put two little thumbnail images, which are the two volumes of the Legacy issue, which is actually a follow-up to Contagion. So if you want the entire thing about, what Contagion, the story is, which is actually a virus that goes around and starts killing everyone in Gotham City, and Batman has to try and figure out, who's done it. So Legacy actually continues that story and actually gives you the big revelation of, who's behind it. Now, I don't want to put spoilers in any of these, so I'll just leave it at that. But yeah, number 10, Contagion. Right, and coming in at number 9 is this one, Bruce Wayne Murderer. I honestly don't know why this doesn't make it to a lot of lists, or if all it does, it's just a casual mention, because I just think it's a really good story. It has a lot. It obviously is where Bruce is, allegedly the murderer of his girlfriend, who's Vesper Fairchild, and he's obviously arrested. And it's just a very interesting story about the way this entire thing sort of plays out. And as I've mentioned, shown you guys here in the thumbnail, that's the sequel, Fugitive. So you have these two interesting trade paperbacks that you guys can pick up. I think it's a very good story overall. If you want to read both of them, obviously you should. But it has its moments, and to me, it does merit, getting a lot more attention from the fandom, in a big way. So yeah, that's it. Number 9. Coming in at number 8 is Batman Gates of Gotham. So this is a very interesting story for sure. So this obviously is looking at the three prominent families that shaped the construction of modern day Gotham City, and there's obviously this villainous person known as the Architect, and sort of like looking where Batman has to try and find out what exactly is going on, what are some of the secrets about the city's founding and so on. So again, don't want to go into spoilers, but it's a very interesting take on the actual city itself, and the entire playing into the sort of mythos about how its legacy is sort of something that has to be uncovered right now. So all in all, a great read. Not sure why, again, it does not get that much attention. At least to me, I thought it was a great story. You guys let me know what you think when you guys have a go and read it. So yeah, that's in at number 8. Okay, and coming in at number 7 is Batman the Demon Trilogy. Now obviously this is a new collected set that has 3 main stories in it, and I will answer a lot of guys who are probably saying right now that, wait a minute, this in fact gets a lot of attention, especially Son of the Demon and Birth of the Demon in particular. But let me explain. So the thing is that Son of the Demon, Bride of the Demon, and Birth of the Demon were 3 different stories that really focus around the main character of Ra's al Ghul. Okay, hope I'm not butchering his name. The thing is that Son of the Demon and Birth of the Demon are both widely respected and sort of looked at as great stories, whereas Bride of the Demon, not so much. But the thing is that when DC announced this new collected trade paperback and so on, while people were excited, but when I saw a newer list come out, I still didn't see this one making it anywhere. While a lot of guys respect these stories and a lot of guys think it, is very much a great part of the overall Batman mythos, if you will, It just doesn't receive the kind of attention which I think it merits. And again, guys, when I say all this, I did not say this as a criticism of anyone. It is just that I think that as Batman fans, we should be highlighting, all kinds of stories and having those positive debates and discussions. And this is just one of them that I really think that this is something you guys should check out. The artwork, as you can just see from the samples I've been sharing with you guys, phenomenal stuff. So yeah, that's in at number 7. Coming in at number 6 is Kings of Fury. I mean, seriously, why does anyone not talk about this one? In fact, believe it or not, I know a lot of guys who didn't even know this, collected edition, this, set was out. And guys who are pretty hardcore, and I know a lot of guys might say like, whoa, wait a minute, they're hardcore, how the heck do they not know about this? But funny enough, that does happen. It's like, we follow certain artists, we follow certain storylines, we try to stay aware. A lot of guys follow different characters in the both DC and Marvel universe and so on. Sometimes something might get missed, and sometimes they might find about it a little later on. But the thing is that Batman Kings of Fear is a great story. It's all about Scarecrow and, just showing a very dark and gritty side about this character, and you can clearly see why. And, it's about understanding what is Batman's biggest fear. What is it that, is the main thing that really, goes straight to the core of his being and so on. And, the way in which Scarecrow is manipulating him. So, phenomenal art, really, really nicely done. Heck, even just look at the cover image. I mean, you can just see for yourself, how enticing all of this really looks. So, do check this out. Kings of Fear, number 6. Coming in at number 5 is Batman 10 Nights of the Beast, which again was about the villainous character KG Beast. Very, very cool. And in fact, for those who may not have read this, or perhaps may not be able to find the collected edition that initially came out, you have, I put the thumbnail here, in the Cape Crusader Volume 1, which is now available. The story's in there, so you guys can definitely check it out. That's in fact how I got my copy after many years of searching. But I kind of like this because if you really look at least to me, this sort of felt like a precursor in some ways to the eventual arrival of the new character at that time, who would be known as Bane. And I mean, all of us know Bane now, but I'm just saying that, in the when Bane finally showed up, when I sort of read the Nightfall series, and I kind of revisited this story when I finally did get this newer copy. Obviously, the thing is that it just sort of felt like, there was just something over there, and it was just a very interesting kind of dynamic. Now, obviously, these characters are not similar, actually, but there was just something about it. But I think it's pretty cool. Obviously, it's taking a slightly political view of how the East-West bloc was at the towards the end of the 1980s, the Western world, the Eastern world, that sort of thing. But putting politics aside, great artwork, classic artwork, the kind of artwork that I grew up with, which to me is the kind of artwork I always like seeing, the style in which Batman is drawn, and just the way in which he sort of has to plot his way around trying to find out what this person is up to and what are they about. So all in all, great story. Coming in at number 5. Coming in at number 4 is Batman the Dark Prince Charming. Now again, some guys are going to say that, whoa, wait a minute, man, this does get featured on some lists. It does, but not very high. Pretty low. Now I know there's some great legacy stories which pretty much dominate the lists and a lot of lists that you see, but this is one of the newer ones that I've come across, that both from the art style, the take, the interpretation, and just the way the story flows, I like it. I really like it a lot. I didn't even know much about it till I actually saw the collected edition available on Amazon, and I just sort of thought, okay, what the heck, let's try it out. And I loved it. I think it's from the visual styles, which are very strong, the actual story of Bruce Wayne having a daughter, and she getting kidnapped by the Joker, and you see the role that Catwoman has to play and so on. But more than anything, I think it's really in this case where the art is king more than the story. But that doesn't take away from the fact that the story is strong, at least to me. But I think it's just, and this is one of those few books where I really was found myself, paying more attention to the artwork than the actual word bubbles and the actual story flow. But yeah, do check it out, guys. I think it's a great one. Coming at number 4, The Dark Prince Charming. Coming in at number 3 is Batman Year 2. Now, I think if there was ever an entry on my list that was going to get me into a lot of trouble with collectors and Batman fans, it would have to be this one. For some reason, and I can see why. I'm not trying to pretend. I'm not trying to live in a fool's paradise or act obnoxious out here. I get why a lot of Batman fans don't like this story. I get why they also feel it kind of tears away at the sacred fabric of what is the overall pattern of the Batman canon story and so on. And obviously, I've been told that this has been written out of canon, but when it came out, it was meant to be like a sequel of some sort to Batman Year One by Frank Miller. Guys, correct me if I'm wrong in the comments below, but you had some great guys out here. You had Mike Barr, you had Alan Davis, you had Todd McFarlane. Yes, does that name sound familiar, guys? It should be. Things Spawn. Anyway, coming back to it, I think it was great because this was obviously a big influence for the Batman animated movie, Mask of the Phantasm, which is the little thumbnail that you can see over here, which I've placed right below. But I think it was a good story. I thought it was an interesting take. Obviously, Batman wielding a gun, okay, I'm not exactly going to say how that happens in the story. I don't, as I said, no spoilers, but I get that. But for all its flaws, I think it's a very good story. I just think that, if people would sort of be a little more patient, try to see, because, see, look, it's like this. It's an interpretation. It's about trying to understand the character and so on. A lot of you may agree with that. A lot of you may not. More power to you. No problem. But the thing is that I think it was a very interesting take. And I think that overall it's strong. It's a good story. I like it. Holds up well. And I think it merits being on the list. And for me, comes in at number 3. Coming in at number 2 is Batman vs. Predator, the original story. Oh my lord. Guys, if there was ever an underrated story in the Batman mythos, canon, universe, you name it, whatever, Elseworld, alternative timelines, whatever, this has to be it. Anyone I've talked to has talked about how fabulous the story is. But for some reason, anywhere, any kind of discussion I find as a group or anywhere, it never finds a single mention. And I have no idea why. I'm not again trying to diss anyone, don't get me wrong, guys, but I just think that, guys, come on. This, if it hadn't been for another story that recently came out that displaced this and moved it to number 2, this would have been, well, actually, I did say about Death in the Family, so yes, you caught me there. But the thing is that it would probably be a tie with Death in the Family. I would really say that, now that I'm sort of, reminding myself a bit about this story. But obviously, Death in the Family just inches slightly, but it would still be a pretty damn close tie. And it is a story that I've enjoyed. I lost my original copy, got it again, and as you can see from the thumbnail here, you have the other 2 stories where Robin gets featured. Pretty cool stuff, and it's all collected now, and it's available on Amazon, so guys, grab it if you can. And considering that the Predator movies have not exactly been doing too great, quotation sarcasm over there, well, they've been pretty bad, in fact, from what I gather. Here's the material that they can use. Why not make a movie on this? Batman vs. Predator. They've got great source material. It's all there, fits in really well, really good. It would be a fabulous way to sort of bring both these characters to the silver screen, and why not actually show it that way? They could even borrow a few minor elements from the other 2 Predator stories that are in the collector's pack, so hey, just a thought, but check it out, guys. Definitely worth the read. A phenomenal story. Love it. Batman vs. Predator at number 2. And coming in at number 1 is Batman 3 Jokers. This is a very new story, as you can see. It is a story that has got a lot of fans talking. It's a story that longtime fans have embraced. It's a story that some longtime fans have torn to shreds. It's a story that a lot of people thought was spectacular and a direct inheritor a direct sequel, a direct, child, if you will, to another famous Batman story that features on the list that I showed you. And if you want to know what that is, you'll have to just read it. Yeah, I'm going to be that mean. Well, I'm actually not being mean because I don't want to give spoilers, guys, because I don't want to ruin the experience for you, especially for new fans who are actually watching this. But this would have to be it. When it initially was, when I knew it was coming out, I wasn't very sure about it till I actually saw Variant Comics. And I think they do a fabulous job. So, like New Mint Condition, Gemini Collector, and Variant. I think Variant does a fabulous job, and they've covered the entire story. So, guys, go check their channel out. I'll try and leave a link in the description section for you as well. But this would be number one. Look at the artwork. Fabulous. The story, the plot, the emotional aspect. I think that's what's the biggest thing out here, because there's some kind of like a full circle way in which the story works. And now this is obviously from the Black Label line. Obviously a little different. Many would say that that does not make it part of the actual core canon story. If you would actually cobble together different graphic novels and comics together and say this would be the definitive Batman story, but some argue that it does actually become a part of that now. It's had such an impact, even though it's so recent. In just a few couple of short months, it's had a major impact. A lot of people are talking about this one, and I love it. And I'm as you can see, it's got some great artwork. I've obviously got a couple of these in my collection right now. Yeah, I'm a collector, so that's what it is. But fabulous story. Grab the hardcover if you can. I do believe a deluxe edition may be out in the very near future. I'll probably grab that too. But this comes in at number one, The Three Jokers. So that's my list, guys. 10 Batman graphic novels that deserve your attention. That's what I thought. And this is what I feel. I would love to know what other stories you guys think stand out in a bigger way. What is it that you found interesting? Were there any shockers out here? Were there any things you agreed with? Did you disagree with the whole thing? Were you more like, no, Rohan, I mean, you've got this all wrong, and it just wasn't the way it is? Or you think that, hey man, this is great, fabulous, I'm definitely going to check these titles out and let you know what I think as well. Whatever it is, guys, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Thanks so much for the guys who wrote in and pushed me to actually make this list. I hope it was to your satisfaction. I wish you guys a happy holiday season ahead. I look forward to catching up with you soon, and I look forward to corresponding and interacting with you guys in future videos and in the comment section below here. If you like what you saw here, give it a share or a thumbs up, and I look forward to talking to you soon. Take care, guys. Rock on.